Tabletop Simulator Setup. Load Kabal Test Workshop. Optional, watch the rules explanation videos on YouTube. Additional steps needed before starting play. 1. Each player, excluding Nemesis, draws 5 asset cards from the asset card deck. Add these to the player's hand of 10 starting cards. Then shuffle the player's deck and place it next to the player's mat. 2. Each player, including Nemesis, receives an end scoring card. This is kept secret. 3. Determine player turn order randomly. Place the player turn order markers in the order on the turn order track. 4th. Each player in turn order decides their team, black hat or white hat. 5. Each player now draws an artifact from the black bag for black hat players, or a crystal from the white bag for white hat players. 6. Each player draws a mission card from the black mission deck for black hats, and from the white mission deck for white hats. 7. Adjust the money track depending on the expected game length. You are now ready to play. The player with the turn order marker in the first place now starts with the player's turn. Important concepts before you learn the game. Asset cards. Each asset card has the following components: top of card color and cost in M0 money to buy. VPs awarded, if any. Name and type of card. Picture and text, including trash and draw symbols. Colored symbols. These indicate the income to be gained at the start of a player's turn, and the action symbols that can be used during the player's turn. The wild symbol is in the center. Mission cards. Each mission card has the following components: victory point, white or black depending on type of mission. Level of mission, level 1, level 3 or level 5. Operative requirements are a white symbol and the money requirement, which is, for a black mission, M9 money paid by player to the credit pool. For a white mission, M9 money paid from global repository. Number of steps on the 5D track. Level 5 missions, wild symbol, which allows a choice between increasing or reducing the 2 tracks Alpha and Omega. Hero cards. Each hero card has the following components: level of hero level 1, level 3 or level 5, or for novice level 0 to level 10. Amount of M9 money transferred from the credit pool. Angel points awarded to player when hero is successfully activated. Number of steps on 5D track, and for level 5 plus heroes is a wild symbol which allows a choice between reducing Omega or increasing Alpha tracks. Number of blue power tokens received, if any. Level 10 hero, sanctuary symbol, which gives sanctuary status to a location. Artifact and crystals. Artifacts. These represent ancient artifacts and are used to gain action points for black hat players. These are owned by players. Crystals. These represent etheric crystals and are used to gain action points for white hat players. These are not owned by players. Empowered means the item will give extra action points to a black hat player if the player owns the artifact and has an operative at the location for the artifact, according to Stargate Portal card. A white hat player if the player has an operative at the location for the crystal, according to Stargate Portal card. This is because crystals are not owned. Crystals can be captured. See rules for battles. Any number of crystals and artifacts can be carried by operatives when they move locations during a board action. Map and regions. The regions and their number are as follows: North America 1, South America 2, Europe 3, Middle East 4, Asia 5, Oceania 6. The region number is used by Nemesis to determine a region randomly. Players gain victory points by controlling them. These VPs are awarded in the end of round phase. The political control of regions also plays a role in the attack or defense strength in battles. There are 24 locations, marked by a circle black, artifact portal or white, crystal stargate. There are also 5 player HQs. HQs have sanctuary status. Antarctica. Antarctica is a special region that has sanctuary status. It also has the following characteristics. A player's political strength in Antarctica determines the number of additional Antarctica action points a player receives as follows. A. Political strength equal to 1 or 2 gives 1 AP. B. Political strength equal to 3 or 4 gives 2 AP. C. Political strength equal to 5 gives 3 AP. Note: Antarctica does not generate VPs during the end of round phase. Sanctuary. It's not possible to initiate a battle in a location with sanctuary status. Allegiance. There are 2 allegiances, black hat for players playing for the dark agenda. The other allegiance is as a white hat for players playing with the white side of the player mat face up. Allegiance is an important part of the game and affects what actions you can take as a player. It also affects cooperative play and VPs. Cooperative play. Players with the same allegiance can share resources at any time. For example, a white hat player can give money to another white hat player to enable the other player to pay for the cost of a crystal. Players can make agreements between themselves, but they are not binding. M9 money and money pools. M9 money is alternative money system used in Cabal as currency between themselves. It is generated by bank-type asset cards. It cannot be used to buy asset cards. There are 2 M9 money pools. The credit pool, which receives M9 money from financing black missions, and the global repository, which receives M9 money moved there by heroes from the credit pool. M9 money in the global repository can be used to finance white missions. Please see the money flow chart to understand the flow of money in the game. Blue power tokens. These can be received as income at the start of a player's turn from blue symbols on asset cards. They can be kept from turn to turn up to a maximum of 5 tokens. They can be used at any time to gain the following benefits: 2 blue tokens to gain an action point. 1 blue token to sabotage another player's special action. See later for effect of sabotage. Gain our re-roll on the battle dice roll. Spend 1 blue token to revive an operative from the clone tanks. Blue tokens are also used to buy battle cards. 1 blue power token can be used to satisfy the M9 money requirement to complete a mission. 3 blue power tokens to change the end scoring card. Note: some heroes have a blue symbol. When such a hero is activated, the player receives a blue power token. In addition, a player may use an HQ staff to generate 2 blue power tokens. Mercenaries. Mercenaries can be hired by players to augment their strength in battles. They cannot carry items, and they are lost when a player flips allegiances under cremation of care. Mercenary meeples are colored white. To reflect who owns the mercenary, place the meeple next to the player's operatives who owns them. If there are no player's operatives at the location, the mercenary is lost and returned to the mercenary box. Mercenaries can be teleported from HQ for free before a battle. Type of asset cards and power cards. The types of asset cards are bank, media, politics, operations, industry, special and power. There are also 2 generic cards, Enforcer and Destroyer. Some of the asset cards are power cards. These are retained and provide income each turn. For example, the region control power cards award 1 VP if the player has the most political strength in the relevant region, during the receipt of income in a player's turn. Titans. These special types of mercenaries are represented by the 3 large meeples that start in the Titan box. They have a combat strength of 10 if they are in a location with empowered crystals or artifacts. Otherwise, their base strength is 2. Game rounds. The game is structured into rounds. Each round consists of 2 phases. Player turns. End of round phase. The rounds continue until the money track reaches $92 trillion, or the alpha track or the omega track reach a maximum level 15. Player turns. In turn order as shown on the turn order track, each player takes a turn. First, the player announces whether they want to continue operating for their current team, or whether they want to flip allegiances. This is a big decision. It can be reversed, but at a substantial cost. Here are the details of the flip process. Follow this procedure to execute a flip. Flip player's mat over to the opposite side. The player can decide to trash asset cards from the player's deck equal to the number of trashed cards on the player's mat before the flip. Shuffle the player's asset card deck. Trashed cards can be traded in for white VPs at this stage, or returned to a player's deck. All the player's titans are lost and put back in the available titan box. Any Fallen Angel cards are returned and put back into the Fallen Angel deck. If it is the second flip, both titans and all mercenaries of the player are lost. They are returned to the available mercenaries box. No other changes are needed. The first flip is free to make, but subsequent flips cost 20 care points. 1 care point equals 1 M0 money or 1 VP. These are shared out among the players of the new allegiance. This is called the cremation of care. Next, the player draws 5 asset cards from the player's asset card draw deck. If the player's draw deck is empty, shuffle the player's discard pile to form a new deck. There is a different procedure for the Nemesis player turn. The cards drawn by the player are placed in front of the player's mat, face up. The player then receives income from all the played cards and from any power cards. If a card has a draw symbol, the player draws an extra card and receives the income immediately. If the card has a trash symbol, see below. Income symbols on asset cards. Money symbol with a number equal to the number indicated the amount of money the player receives. Banks generate M9 money. Other cards generate M0 money. White hat players do not receive M9 money. Blue symbol equal to player receives 1 blue power token for each symbol. Green symbol equal to player moves the 5D track the number of steps equal to the number of the symbols on the card. Rainbow equal to a wild symbol can be treated as any of the above symbols. If the player chooses to treat the rainbow symbol as money, the amount is 2. Trash and draw symbols. Trash symbol. Cards with the trash symbol allow a player to trash a card from the played cards or from the player's discard pile. Place the trashed card on the player's mat. Draw symbol. Cards with the draw symbol allow a player to draw a card from the player's deck. The player receives income from the new card immediately. Action points. The player now calculates the number of action points that the player receives. These are used to activate HQ operations staff by moving HQ staff meeples to the HQ staff ops room on the player mat. The number of apps a player receives is the total of base AP equal to 1. Antarctica APs equal to number of APS based on the political strength of player in Antarctica. 1 AP for each empowered artifact, max 2. 1 AP for each empowered crystal, max 2. 1 AP for 2 blue power APS, max 1. Empowered artifacts and crystals are explained above. Blue power is explained above. To take an action, the player moves 1 HQ staff from the HQ staff ops room to the relevant action box on the player's mat. Then the player carries out the action. Repeated actions. The first time a player carries on one of the action types, the player needs 1 HQ staff. If that action is repeated, then the player needs 2 HQ staff to carry out the action. Instead of taking an action, the player can assign an HQ staff member to generating blue power. The actions are listed on the player's mat. Most actions are common to black and white players. However, there is a special action that is unique to each of the allegiances. Battle action for black hat players and hero activation for white hat players. Complete mission. This action allows a player to use a white symbol on the asset cards played this turn to complete the player's mission. Money cost for black missions. The player pays the mission cost in M9 money as indicated on the mission card. Place the M9 money in the credit pool. Alternatively, this requirement to complete a mission can be paid for using a blue power token. The player takes the M9 money instead from supply and places it in the credit pool. Money cost for white missions. The player can use M9 money in the global repository to pay for the mission cost. If insufficient M9 money in the repository, the player can use the player's own M9 money. Alternatively, this requirement to complete a mission can be paid for using a blue power token. When mission is completed, move the player's VP marker on the VP track relevant to the mission. White mission generate white VPs and so adjust the white VP track. Black mission generate black VPs and so adjust the black VP track. The 5D track marker is advance the number of steps indicated on the mission card. If the mission card has a wild symbol, The player can adjust the alpha or the omega tracks. For black missions, either increase omega or reduce alpha. For white missions, increase alpha or reduce omega. Replacement card. The mission card is immediately replaced with a new mission card of the same allegiance. The player draws a new mission card from the relevant mission deck. If there are no mission cards in that deck, then the card is not replaced. Board action. A board action allows a player to use the red or yellow symbols on the played asset cards. The action symbols can be used as follows. Red. These symbols can be used to move one of the player's operatives to a single location or region anywhere on the board. The operatives can carry any number of artifacts or crystals. An unlimited number of mercenaries can move with an operative for free. Mercenaries cannot move on their own. Yellow. These are used to advance an existing operative at a region one step to increase political strength in the region. If this is the first time the player adds political strength to a region, move an operative from the player's HQ to the region. If there are no operatives at the player's HQ to be used as a political operative, the player can take one operative from any location on the board. Buy from market. Buy from market action allows a player to do the following. 1. Buy a single asset card from the market. The player spends the required money. The acquired asset card is placed in the player's discard pile. If the asset card has a VP symbol, the player's VP track is adjusted depending on the player's allegiance. A new asset card is drawn from the asset card deck and placed on the market board immediately. 2. Refresh market at a cost of 3 M0 money. 3. Buy a single battle card at a cost of 1 blue power token. 4. Acquire a single artifact or crystal at a cost of 2 M0 money. Draw one randomly from the relevant bag. Place it at the player's HQ. 5 black hats only can exchange M9 money to M0 money at the rate of $10 billion M9 money equal to 1 M0 money up to $100 billion M9 money. 6. Hire one mercenary operative at the cost of 2 M0 money. Take a mercenary from the available mercenary box and place at the player's HQ. This does not include titans. These are won through Loki points. Refresh market. Before or after buying an asset card, a player can spend 3 M0 money to refresh the market. Replace the 5 asset cards in the market with 5 new cards drawn from the top of the asset card deck. The replaced cards are placed at the bottom of the asset card deck. Trash a card. Trash an asset card from the cards played this round or from the player's discard pile. Place the trashed card on the player's mat. If the trashed card has a VP, then trashing it generates a blue power token. Notes: the player will have already received the income from the card before being trashed. In addition, the player's HQ starting card cannot be trashed. 5.8 Special Action Battle. Battles in the game are resolved through dice rolls and the use of battle cards. It is suggested that players use the battle card player aid as a guide. Battle location chosen and teleportation. First, the attacking player selects the location of the battle and can teleport up to 2 operatives with any number of mercenaries from the player's HQ to the battle location for free. The player can also teleport additional operatives from locations at a cost of 1 red symbol per operative. Advanced, the active player can ask to borrow mercenaries from other black hat players. If the other player agrees, mercenaries can be teleported from the HQ of other black hat players to the battle location. This can be done without the need for an accompanying operative. The lending player may require a payment. Combat strength. The active player, who is deemed the attacker, calculates the player's combat strength by adding up the base strengths of the player's operatives at the location, and the player's operatives at other locations within the region, plus the political strength of the player's operative in the region box. The combat strength is the sum of strength of 2 per military operative or mercenary at the location, strength of 1 for all operatives at other locations in the region, strength of 1 for each political strength of the player in the region, strength of 10 per titan. The defender now calculates the defense combat strength in a similar manner, but based on all operatives of white hat players at the location and in the region. Call for assistance. At this stage, the attacking player can ask for assistance from other players. The player can suggest a trade, money, or asset cards in exchange for assistance. If the assistance is provided, then the assisting player's operatives in the same region are included in the battle calculation. The assisting operatives only have a strength of 1 and are the last to be removed in the event of casualties. In addition, the player may negotiate the use of a Titan held by another Black Hat player. If a deal is done, then the player can teleport in a Titan lent by the other player to the battle location. Battle cards. After calculating the difference in the combat strengths, the attacker can play a battle card. This is placed face down. These can add 3 to the combat die roll. Sabotage of battle action. Battle cards can be countered by the defender as follows. The defender chooses one of the counter battle cards. After choosing, both cards are revealed. If the defender chooses the counter card that matches the attacker's card, the attacker receives a reduced bonus of 1 modifier. If defender's choice was incorrect, the defender can spend a blue power token to reduce the modifier to 0. If there is no counter, the attacker receives the full modifier of 3. Combat results table. The outcome of the battle is determined by comparing the difference in attack and defense strengths with the modified roll of a 6-sided dice. If the difference is 0 or negative, no battle occurs. The attacker's operatives are returned back to the player's HQ. Otherwise, the attacker rolls a 6-sided dice and modified by any battle card modifiers. Now consult the combat results table and determine the result. Skull symbol. Defender takes battle losses equal to the number next to the skull symbol. The defender and specifies how they are to be taken. Number of operatives, mercenaries that are lost and/or. Number of pole star that are lost in the region and/or. The defender now chooses which operatives are lost. Operatives are placed in the clone tanks. They can be revived by paying a blue power token. If regenerated, the operative is moved from the clone tanks to the player's HQ and mercenaries to the mercenary available box. Any surviving operatives or mercenaries are moved back to the defender's player's HQ. If the losing player owned an artifact at the battle location and now has no operatives there, then the attacker takes ownership of it. Place one of the attacker's operatives on the artifact. The player also receives a black VP for each battle loss taken by the defender. The attacker receives Loki points equal to the number next to the symbol. These can be used as follows. Loki point can be used in any combination of 4 ways. 1. Reduce alpha. Reduce the alpha track 1 step down to a minimum of 1, thereby helping the Black Hat team. 2. Fallen angel roll. 1 roll of a 6-sided dice in an attempt to cause one of the 3 angels to fall. A roll of 5 or 6 will cause an angel to fall. See below for fallen angels. 3. Crystal capture. Reduce crystal capture die roll by 1 per Loki point. 4. Player receives $10 billion M9 money per 1 Loki point. Crystal capture. If there was a crystal at the battle location and there are no operatives of white hat players at the location, the winner can attempt to capture the crystal. Roll a 6-sided dice. Reduce dice result by 1 for each Loki point allocated to capturing a crystal. 1 to 3 equal to crystal captured. 4 to 6 capture fails, and crystal is placed back in the white bag. If captured, the crystal is placed on the winning player's mat and receives 1 black VP. The captured crystal may also count towards endgame scoring. Battle deals. After applying the results of the battle, both the attacker and the defender are now expected to honor any deals made during the call for assistance. Fallen angels. There is a deck of 3 fallen angel cards. If they are won in battle, the player takes the top card from the fallen angel deck and places it on the player's mat. The player then receives one of the 3 titans at the player's HQ. The figure is treated like a mercenary operative. In addition, if the fallen angel is activated during a hero activation, it causes the inverse to happen, that is M9 money is moved from the global repository back to the credit pool. Fallen angels can be redeemed using angel points. Special action hero activation. The hero activation action can only be carried out by white hat players. proceed as follows. The player shuffles the hero deck, consults the 5D track, and draws the relevant number of hero cards. The player works out which heroes can be fully activated. The player totals the activation cost in M9 money, and based on the M9 money in the credit pool, work out which heroes can be fully activated. The remaining heroes receive a partial activation. The M9 money is moved from the credit pool and to the global repository box. At this stage, Black Hat players can sabotage the activation by spending a blue power token to attempt to cause a fully activated hero to backfire. Fallen Angels always backfire. Roll a 6-sided dice. The hero backfires as follows. O level 1 hero backfires on 1 to 4. O level 3 hero backfires on 1 to 3. O level 5 hero backfires on 1 to 2. For all heroes that did not backfire, if fully activated, the player receives white VPs, 5D track steps, blue power tokens, one of the Sanctuary status markers and angel points. If partially activated, the hero only generates angel points. Angel points can be used as indicated below. After activation, all the hero cards are then placed back in the hero draw deck and shuffled. Check whether Novice Hero is upgraded. Backfire. When a hero backfires, it basically inverts the sum of the benefits it normally provides and converts them to the opposite effect. Fully activated hero. Instead of transferring M9 money from the credit pool to the global repository, it will do the reverse and transfer M9 money from the global repository to the credit pool. Instead of increasing the 5D track, it will reduce the 5D track. It also does not award a white VP. Full and partial activated heroes that backfire will not provide angel points. Angel points. An angel point can be used by the player in any combination of 4 ways. 1. Reduce Omega. Reduce the Omega track 1 step, thereby helping the White Hat team. 2. Angel Redemption. To make a redemption roll. If one of the heroes that was activated was a fallen angel, then the player can redeem it. The player receives 1 roll per angel point spent on redemption. A roll of 5 or 6 will redeem the angel. The player recovers the fallen angel card, which is returned to the fallen angel deck. The player can then choose one of the titans and return it to the available titan box. 3. Add $10 billion M9 money from supply to the global repository per angel point. Novice Hero upgrades. The Novice Hero starts the game at level 0. If it or its upgrades is fully activated by a player who has an empowered crystal, then this hero is upgraded as follows. First upgrade. Replace level 0 Novice with level 1 Kalachakra Kid. Second upgrade. Replace level 1 Kalachakra Kid with level 3 Merlin. Third upgrade. Replace level 3 Merlin with level 5 Omega Man. Fourth upgrade. Replace level 5 Omega Man with level 10 Homo Divinicus. There are no more upgrades after the 4th. In addition, there can only be 1 upgrade per round. In these rules, Novice or Novice Hero refers to the level 0 Novice and all its upgrades. Homo Divinicus has a special ability which is to place the Sanctuary status marker on a location. Sanctuary status applies that location. The Sanctuary status marker can be moved to another location by another activation of Homo Divinicus. As the Novice Hero can only be upgraded once per round, turn over the money track marker to indicate this. This shows that the Novice has been upgraded, and no further upgrades are possible this round. End of round phase. During this phase, carry out the following. Move the money marker 1 step towards the $92 trillion space. Once the marker reaches the $92 trillion space, the end of the game is immediately triggered. Proceed to the end of game to determine the winner. Next, adjust the Alpha and Omega tracks based on the amount of M9 money in the 2 pools. The credit pool adjusts Omega track, and the global repository adjusts Alpha track. Then check whether the Alpha track or Omega track has reached the maximum level. If one of them has, the end of the game is triggered. Proceed to the end of game to determine the winner. Award region VPs to any players that have a majority of political strength in a region. The player gains a black VP or a white VP, depending on the player's allegiance. If tied, no VP is awarded. A player can retain a maximum of 5 blue power tokens to carry forward. Discard any excess. Unlimited amounts of M0 money and M9 money can be carried forward. Finally, each player works out their individual VP total from the addition of the white VP track and the black VP track. The player with the most VPs decides the turn order. This player moves each player's turn order marker on the turn order track to reflect this. If tied for most VPs, the player with the most M9 money decides the turn order. The player with the lowest VPs gains a bonus generic card. If the player is a black hat, the card received is a destroyer, and if white hat, the card is an enforcer. These are placed in the player's discard pile. Tied players both get the bonus generic card. Advanced, if the turn track has a astrological symbol matching the current Stargate portal card. The Stargate portal card is changed. Draw a new Stargate portal card and display face up. Artifacts and crystals will now need to be moved during a player's turn to new locations to become empowered. Nemesis, as an AI player, needs someone to carry out its turn. There are separate instructions on how to do this. If a player does not volunteer to play Nemesis in the next round, then the last human player in the turn order needs to play Nemesis. Return all HQ staff to their original places on the player's mat. End of game. The game concludes when the money track reaches $92 trillion or the alpha or omega tracks reach the maximum level. At this point, the final judgment takes place to determine the winner. The player with the most VPs wins. VPs are a combination of the player's black or white VPs, together with the team VPs and end-of-game scoring cards. Player VPs. Add VPs from both VP tracks, black and white. 3 VP to each player that is flipped to the same as the Tai Chi dial. Team VPs. Team VPs are allocated to players in the allegiance team as follows. 2 VP per alpha track step, to all players in white hat allegiance. 2 VP per omega track step, to all players in black hat allegiance. Endgame scoring VPs. Finally, add to each player's total VPs from the endgame scoring cards. Polarity balance, 10 VPs less the difference in the omega and alpha tracks plus the highest track. Crystal Pirate, 4 VP per captured crystal. Ascended Guru, 10 VP if Novice has been upgraded to Homo Divinicus, and 10 VP if 5D track is at maximum. Samurai Warrior, 5 VP per mercenary or Nemesis operative in the clone tanks at the end of game. Earth Alliance, 10 VP for having at least 1 political strength in all regions, Incal Antarctica, and 10 VP if player has the most political strength in at least 3 regions. Money Magnate, 1 VP for each $10 billion of M9 money in M9 credit pool and global repository. Mr. Black Hat, calculate the average black VPs across all players. The average is the total of black VPs of all players divided by the number of players. Mr. Black Hat receives 1 VP per 2 average black VPs. My White Hat, calculate the average white VPs across all players. The average is the total of white VPs of all players divided by the number of players. Mr. White Hat receives 1 VP per 2 average white VPs. Winner. The player with the most VP wins. In the case of a tie, the player with the highest amount of M0 money serves as the tiebreaker. If Nemesis has the most VPs, all non-AI players are treated as losers.